Hello, hello.
What's up, y'all?
I don't even know how to do this anymore. You know, it's been so long since I've done YouTube.
No, what is this?
All right. Hello. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to our crib.
Welcome to the crib. And is this MTV Cribs?
No, it's not. But how do I start this video?
Yeah, welcome to our crib.
How do people start videos these days?
They just be talking and then yapping and then go into the video.
Okay.
Literally, that's what people be doing.
Okay.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
This is Olayinka and Crystal. Welcome to our English channel. And
we're not English.
We are English.
We're Nigerian.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's do it. So, no, I can't. I have to find the right energy to come on here with. How do they do it? It's just like, hey y'all, so we're gonna be sharing. Okay, yeah, we'll just start the video. We'll just start it. Okay, all right. Hey y'all, we're gonna be sharing our journey to home ownership, our journey to our miracle home, just kind of the story about being displaced, the process. Man,
and a half
with a toddler. It was giving homeless. It was giving struggle, but we'll get to that. It was giving ghetto. It was really giving ghetto. But the process was like 5 months long to get to our miracle home. So we're going to talk more about that journey. I know there's a lot of people who are on their home ownership journey, are in the waiting of their home ownership journey, are interested in the home ownership journey. So hopefully this will give some perspective and some insight. And this is my husband, my man, together for 7 years. Well, married for 7 years. Together for 8?
Close to 10.
Close to 10! Beep, beep. Oh my gosh, we didn't even say who we were. Who are you? If you are new here, my name is Crystal.
My name is Olayinka.
Olayinka. But you can call him O for short after you say Olayinka. Like after you say his name, you can call him O for short. He's gonna share more, I guess, a little bit, but this is like a snippet of our background, like what do we do? Like our real estate portfolio and things like that.
So we stumbled into real estate in 2020. Real estate is something I had a passionate dream to do for some time, but it just was never realistic, you know. Especially being freshly out of college, post-grad, you know. And so we were watching a show and I had just gotten a little money saved up and we were like, we should buy land.
No, I was like, we should buy land.
She always said she
we were watching, he don't even know the show, y'all. We were watching Madam C.J. Walker, her story, like her movie on her show on Netflix. And it was literally when they said the recession hit and land was so cheap and it was 2020, right? And I was like, oh, and I'd been hearing about recession. And I was like, oh, we should buy land. We should buy a house. We should buy something, right? Because we were renting at that time. Yeah. And that was in 2020.
Yeah.
And
so
we moved on it.
What we did.
Yeah.
And we moved into our first home. Part of the reason why the initial hesitancy was because, you know, we were just not sure where we were gonna live. If we're gonna be in that same town we were in. We were in Central Texas, and we were thinking of moving out of state at some point. And we were going through a lot of different things. So we were like, you know what? Let's buy it. The land is cheap, and we can use that
as a start,
down the line,
right?
Maybe for an investment in the future. And it kind of became an opportunity for the real estate stuff to come true. So we did. We bought that home in 2020 at a crazy rate, 2.75. That's what it was back then. Yeah. For context, and I'll refer to this again, rates currently, as we're talking, is about close to 7%. Yeah. Average. You know, and so, and that, for those who are not like math, you know, and don't know all those numbers, that leads to a lot of money a month.
That's up,
thousands and thousands of dollars, right? I mean, over time. And even it could be thousands within a month, right? Or close to 1,000 within a month. So depending on what your mortgage is. So anyway, 2.75 was a great, amazing rate. Yeah, we locked that in.
Almost unreal because like that's not.
I mean, it's just not. but 2020 also just provided opportunities
right.
like that. You know, a lot of people were scared to buy, losing their jobs, or maybe they didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
So we kind of did that as a huge blessing. We lived in that home for close to 2 years, and then, if not, close to 2 years, about a year and a half, and then we moved to
another
area south of Dallas, and we lived there
for 2
years.
We have a pattern, but we're done.
Before we moved to the last place we were at, we also bought
another
a small property
for
crazy price. That was like, $70,000.
Right. Off of a wholesale market?
Off of a wholesaler who hooked the deal up. Shout out to them. And we were able to have another investment property. We flipped that. We rented it out for a year. We put some money into it. Flipped that.
Right.
And then we were able to make some money off of that. Put that towards
into the
new home that we bought. We've bought about 5 homes within the last 5 years. Yeah. And so we've done all kind of things. We've done long-term rentals. We've done
Airbnb
short-term rentals. We've done mid-term rentals. We've done like a whole host of just different kind of strategies with our homes. Yeah. Some we've sold, we've flipped. I mean, in that short time, we've done a lot and had a lot of experience in real estate, which by God's grace has been like profitable for us, and helping us to achieve some of our goals. Thank God. Right. Working in ministry, having another source of income, things for our home, our family,
just entrepreneurship, wealth,
our entrepreneurship goals,
and also flexibility too. Like I would work the property management side of things, so it's like for me, I don't have a traditional.
By work it, she means work it. I mean, God has multiple super hosts in our Airbnb, and I think that's really because you had the vision for it. So
thank you. So so that's like a bit of our background, just so you guys can kind of like hear more about that. And if you want to know more, maybe contextually as it applies to your personal situation, Yinka does do like one-on-one consulting calls, so we will leave a link in the description below if you want to book with him and just kind of talk through your own situation and hear more about your your personal application to your life. So let's go ahead and jump into our testimony basically on how we got our miracle home. I did start a series on my Instagram about our journey to our miracle home. So if you're not following me there, make sure you go follow me on Instagram. You can follow him as well. I'll put our, links or our handles right here. But I did that series while we were not even in our home.
Not even in, nothing locked in.
We weren't even sure we were gonna be there. Like it was just by faith, truly by faith. And I feel like the Lord was encouraging me to just do it and like believe him for making it come to pass. Like just do it. So literally put myself out there on the internet, talking about some miracle home, we on our way, whatever. So anyways, what was supposed to be a 7-day like wait or process, like displacement, like, oh, we're just gonna pack. Literally my husband was like, babe, pack 7 days worth of clothing.
So ended up being about a month and a half of displacement, but in total a 5-month process that we just did not expect at all. And so the reason why we even getting the miracle home in the first place is because we believe there was a promise attached to it.
This home
had received a prophetic word, which sometimes people can be weird with prophetic stuff, but we really believe that this was from God because of the season we were in.
When it came,
and even just what we had just gotten out of. She shared publicly about the miscarriage and going through that, and this was a prophetic word we believe was attached to that, and so we took action. We're 2 different kinds of people. I'm like, if the promise is going to come to pass, it's going to happen. And let God do his thing. She is like, hey, yes, God needs to do his thing, but we need to move, do like thing,
action.
Right?
I'm an action kind of woman.
She's action Jackson right here. And so, we had 2 different approaches, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful because there is beauty in waiting on the Lord, but there's also beauty in moving on what the Lord has promised you, right?
Because faith without works
is
dead.
And so I think there is
you were the faith and I was the works. Essentially.
Yeah, I mean,
I
guess
we were weighing in on. I was weighing in on the works. You were weighing in on the faith.
Yeah,
I think we had both. We both individually had a bit of both. But I think that we were leaning heavier on works. You were leaning heavier on faith in that specific season. So to me, it was like, I believe the Lord could do it, but I need to go out there and get my hands dirty and see what's going on.
And that's where I think, balance each other out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's like, all right, get out there and start looking for homes, start, getting funds ready together.
Yeah.
Like that. And I'm like, don't be so dang stressed out all the time. Just freaking out. Like, let's find a middle ground. And we did.
And speaking to funds, we were not in a place where we were thinking like moving was going to be this thing that was going to happen next week or next month or even 6 months from then, right? We were thinking like maybe like 8 to 10 to 12 months, right? We weren't thinking then and there. It was more so, let's just exercise faith and look
and see what's out
and
there.
See what the Lord can do, right? And see what's out there. And so we found a home that we liked that was going to be ready months in advance. So we're like, okay, cool. We'll get our money together. We'll start, we'll pay for like our lot and things like that. So we were going to go with that option. We thought it was great. It was in a great area. It was conventional. It was just great, right? But the home, beautiful home. But I was like, I would walk into the home and I would just be like, I just don't have peace. Like every single time I'd walk into the model of the home, no matter where it was, it could be in a different city or different like zip code or whatever. But when I walked into the same plan every time, I was like, I just don't have peace with this home. I just don't have peace with this like layout. I don't know. I just don't have peace with it. And after that, I started looking. He was pretty much sold.
We had gotten to the place where, like she said, we were sold on pretty much doing that. But we had gotten to the place where, again, 10 to 12 months is when we would realistically be able to like get what we need to get in order for this to happen.
Right.
And so when we had gotten to that place, she now like messages me another home, and I'm like, girl.
I had been telling her I don't have peace with the current home, so
she said that, but you also were like,
whatever.
Okay, I was like, It was also a thing where it was like, I knew this wasn't it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that it factor.
Right. It was nice, but it just It was. I mean, it was nice, but it just wasn't like, I don't know. It just was missing something, and I just couldn't. Yeah. Right. So, anyways, I messaged you a house.
She messaged me a house, and I was like, girl, we're not going through all this again. But I just was like, you know what? When I got the message, I just felt like a check in my spirit of like, check this out.
Yeah.
Good opportunity. Let's hear about it. And told her to talk to the agent or whatever, the builder representing it. And talk to her and set up a time for us to come look at it.
And the craziest part is that I saw the home and I was like, dang, we should really go check this out. But I knew he was a bit sold. He was good. He was set to go on the home we were looking at. And I was like, dang, like, I don't know if he's going to want to look at it. Like, I feel like he's going to be like, no. So I was talking to my mom, actually, and she's like, well, just pray over his heart. If it's meant to be, the Lord will confirm it to him as well. So instead of like forcefully being like, it's our home, babe. Like,
Life hack. That's talking from an OG wife right there. Pray for your husband's heart, because sometimes that's what we need to help see what God is showing you, and vice versa. That's
right. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just pray for his heart, because you can't force me to buy a home. Like, you just can't force him, especially when he's sold on the home we already have, right? So I even thanked him for being open to like seeing the home and like having an open heart. So anyways, we get to the home, we're touring it. And at the end, he's like, yeah, this is it. Yes, Lord, I knew it.
Did we bring Shiloh that first time?
We didn't. No, we brought him the second time. We just asked the first time until we could really look.
I was sold on the first time, and then we got on a call after, and it was like, actually, it's also, you're going to get like $20,000 towards closing.
Oh my goodness.
On top of that, you'll get a 3.99. I said like a buy down, which a buy down is just like they'll give you that rate for the first year or the first 2 years, then they'll go down again. Then then it'll go up again, and then it'll go like up to what it normally is after 3 years. This was like, no, a 3.99 for the life of loan, which is, y'all need to understand, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's madness. Like in in 2025, what year? March 2025, February 2025. That's insane.
Yeah.
For it to get
it's unheard of.
3.99 locked in for the whole life of the loan.
It's unheard of. And then we also got like bonuses thrown in. Like we got like light switches, all the upgrades. So like basically when you walk into some rooms in our house, it just turns on the light for you. Y'all.
And so they were just trying to get rid of the place.
Yeah.
Because it was
the last.
Or I think at that time it was one of 3.
Well, it was the only 2-story. It was the last 2-story home in this whole entire division.
In the whole neighborhood.
By this builder.
And they were just ready to get rid of
it
before the tax. So they threw everything.
Yeah, everything in.
To get it. And so we just happened to come at the perfect time.
Yeah. And then also, can we talk about but real quick though, can we just sit on what was included in the home? We're talking gutters, 1/2 acre lot. Our backyard is nearly half the size of a football field. With the whole
probably bigger than a football field. I mean, depending on what football field.
Close to half the size is what I Googled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have a movie theater room. Like it just came with everything. We got like decal switches in where basically like when you walk into a room, the light turns on, or you can like dim the light or whatever. You can control the lights through Alexa, ceiling fans, patio ceiling fans, like literally all the bells and whistles we got. And I was just like, this is insane. And then me being a therapist, I also was able to apply my mental health healthcare worker discount and got $6K off or $2K off. Y'all, the Lord was just really moving, and we're like, yes, Lord, like it's all coming together. Like the Lord is doing it. But how many of us know, or even maybe you don't even know, but how many of us understand or know that when the Lord is doing something else is also raising itself up to become that opposition to the blessing that is supposed to take place or to happen, right? And that's when the massive challenge, what I also believe to be spiritual warfare, chapter 1. Chapter 1. Woo!
So the promise at that point we knew was established, and God gave me faith, and He gave me multiple confirmations. He gave her confirmation that this is it. Like this
even selling our home, babe. You want to tell them a little snippet about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna get on.
Okay.
And so getting this, it was just a thing of like, okay, this is it. When Shiloh walked into the home the second time we went, he did not want to leave.
No,
we had walked into several homes before that. But it was a situation where he did not just want to leave. Like, it was like he was having
this is it.
Like true joy in that home.
In the home.
And it was this is a different kind of reaction. On top of that, realized we're right next to family, which we didn't even realize coming into the neighborhood that we're literally neighbors. with my family. Like so it was just like crazy, like how all these things are coming together. Yeah. And so as we're getting ready, to get all this stuff signed and applied, they're like, okay, you have to get your tax stuff in, which I followed an extension. All right, hurried, rushed, got the taxes in, got everything in. And then from there, it was just downhill, one thing after the other. So they said, all right, you have to sell your home, which we sold to keep. Yeah. But we were like, okay, we're planning to sell this anyway. Yeah. We want to take the money from that, put it into the home. So we were okay with that. We were in Financial Peace that fall. Yeah. Which, if you're familiar with Financial Peace University, it's a great course. Check it out. Maybe your church offers it or something like that. Initially, they denied us. And they said, actually, you can't do this. And I was like, nah, that can't be true. Right. Because I'm doing the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I'm going to crunch the numbers and make sure everything. And so I was like, went to another lender and they approved me. And I brought that back to them. Yeah. And I was like, hey, here's an approval. Run it back. Yeah. And he was like, you guys would never be able to get into this home. Like, maybe you can try again in 2-3 years, but you're not going to be able to get into this home. There's no way. And I was like, I love that energy, actually. Me personally, I love that energy. I love when you did the same thing. It reminded me of when we were going through infertility. Like, when you say you can't do something, it's just like, all right, God, show them. Yeah, Show up and show them. And so we started doing what we needed to do. So we were like, all right. And then as we were in the Financial Peace University class, we started talking about, okay, paying off our debt. Yeah. So we were like, man, we might have to sell our Airbnb in Waco. Which was kind of a big deal because I was waiting to like get a whole bunch more money, and we had already gotten
it was a good amount, very lucrative.
I think close to a good amount, close to 6 figures, almost in inequity in it. And so, you know, but we had a lot of debt.
Yeah.
And so we took.
And when you say a lot of debt, like, I don't want them to think that we're just out here just living with like.
We weren't living like foolishly by any means, but just over time, you know, the credit cards, the furniture thing. It
like furniture
all those
debt,
things. And so we had come to the conclusion, like, we feel like God is telling us to sell this.
Yeah.
So we made that decision. 2 days later, they come back and say, selling your house is not enough. We want you to sell
the other one.
The other one too. And I was like, cool.
When we're living
I already have peace in it.
Yeah.
But here's the catcher. You need to sell both of these properties
before 30 days, right? At first it was 30 days.
30 days.
Within 30 days.
Within 30 days. Which, again, the market at the time is moving
slow
as a snail. Like, it's going so slow. It's
not realistic.
So it just was not realistic to sell 2 homes. And the agent was like, look, to sell 2 homes is like, to sell 1 home before this day is tough. And close on it. To sell 2 homes, that's going to be a task.
So for sure. We did. At the last minute. The Lord showed himself and we sold literally the last day.
The deadline was 5 o'clock for us to get the closing papers over to
and we got it like at 4:35. Like basically, you know, we were good to go. But anyways, so just a quick fast forward, just because I know this video is getting a little lengthy and I also want to respect your time. We end up selling the home, you know, we're moving out. Yay, we're going to move into our house soon. And 7 days, we'll just go hang out, you know, go stay with family for a little bit and it'll all be good and dandy. And then we start hitting these complications of, you know, we got this foreman and it doesn't look right, or we submitted it and it's just not looking good. And mind you, because of like, I guess how the lenders work and how like all the stuff is, it just takes time. Like you don't hear back overnight. It's like, no, like a week before we could tell you yes or no. And it just takes a lot of like wear and tear on us as a family because we're sitting here just waiting. Like, do you know what it means to like live in a place of displacement, of not knowing where you're going to be tomorrow or next week, or you know, just even me as a content creator, like creating was hard. Showing up on online was hard because it was like, dude, like this is kind of crazy. Like, I don't know where my clothes are. They're all in storage. Our whole life was in storage. Like we literally only had what we had.
Storage. And
everything.
And it was crazy because they also denied us right after we moved out. And then on top of that, they were like, you're gonna lose the rate. And so
we're sitting here like we done did everything y'all told us to do.
Every single thing that I got everything in on time. Like, and if you know the home buying process, like it is a lot of paperwork. Tons of paperwork.
It's like a full-time job.
It's like a full-time job. I was in a full-time job for those months.
They're calling him. They're like, hey, we need this now. Not later. Now. So stop whatever you're doing and send it to me.
And make sure we get
so we lived in that for quite a while. Months. And then we tried to make the most of it. Eventually we did end up moving into our Airbnb. And that was cool. We're grateful that it was an option for us, but of course Airbnb was not.
But before that, we
stayed with family.
Family.
Yeah,
and I was driving an hour and a half to work.
He was driving an hour and a half to work
because
and back
with traffic and everything
2 ways.
like that. Back and forth.
That's like 3 hours total. And we're like, this is not realistic. So we moved into our Airbnb that was a little closer, but that's like an Airbnb, so it's not like a long-term like placement, you know. So it was. We're grateful that it was an option, but it was tough, you know. But overall, we tried to make the most of it. You know, we tried to get to know the area that we were in. We would go out. We actually started making friends in that area. We would go to the Y. We would go like to just places that we could just enjoy ourselves as a family because it was so hard. Like when I tell you y'all, like having joy in that season was so hard, but we had to fight for it. Like we had to fight for that joy. We had to fight as a family to like stay rooted. Like it just was so different. It was just like, this is not the norm. This is not like, it's not home, you know? So when you don't feel like you're at home or in your home for so long, it can really take a toll on your mental health. And I feel like for me, like I was really struggling. Like there are days where you could just be like, hey, we need to just go out. So we started adopting the like, just go out, get some air, go to the park, go to main event, go somewhere, right? So we kind of got through it that way. And also just, of course, being encouraged by people in our lives that were aware of our season. We had some great people just speaking into our lives, coming alongside us, you know, walking with us, encouraging us, looking for solutions, and just trying to be a blessing to us. And I think that that was also really helpful. And we appreciate you so much for watching this video. But yeah, so anyways, fast forward. we get papers submitted. First, we get denied, and then Yinka's like, we get denied again, guys. And they were like, this is the house of the Lord said that we would have. Right. So ain't no getting denied again. Right. So he goes.
We're with the new person now who's on the front because the other person, remember,
yes,
like I said, was like,
you're never getting this home. Yeah, the previous lender was a little cuckoo, but we got a. Can I say that? I don't know, but we got a new one, and he also was trying. He was really fighting for us and fighting with us to help us. But it just from what the old person did. The old person, I mean, I feel like I can actually like legally call it a lender error. Like it was a lender error. He made a mistake, and I guess he didn't want to own up to it. So we had to deal with the consequences of what he did. Right. Basically, essentially, is what happened.
On top of that, once the underwriters see what the loan originator submit to them, they can't unsee it. So they can't unsee it. That's just like it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We just have to take it as that.
Yeah.
And
so what did we end up having to do?
Tough.
It was tough. What did we do? We started from the beginning.
So we started from the beginning. So what happened was we got denied, and this was like a final letter. Like, we're not doing this anymore. Right? Yeah. Been denied 3 times. Yeah. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And so I am just like done because I'm like my family trying to get everybody situated into our new home, which I believe is more than a home. This is a promise. It's a promise. It's more than just a house. Like, it's more than a house. Like a beginning for us, and it represents so much more than just a physical house. Yeah. And so like I'm just like, what happened? Yeah. Like, how did we get here? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I don't know what to do, but shout out to my guy Chaz, getting my haircut, and he's just like, man, why don't you just try to go up there and talk to them one more time? Mm-hmm. And so I did, not knowing what I was going to say. I didn't know what kind of energy, because I've been given, like, I'm like, some days it was like, look, I'm taking you out of court. Like,
some days it was like Tupac.
Some days I was feeling like Tupac. Some days I was ready to go to war. Yeah. And I had to give him the energy. Like, I'm not playing about my family.
Because we were going to sue. I'm just going to be completely honest. We were going to sue because it was a lot. It was the displacement, like the just lack of clarity. It just wasn't good because this is a family. Like, we're real human beings that are being displaced because of an error that we didn't make, Yeah. So he goes up there, talks to them in person. By the grace of God, he's heard. They're like, oh, that's what you talk. That's all it took.
So no, it actually, when I went up there, I asked for the top person at the branch.
That's how you do
it.
Who
he happened to be there that day, which a lot of times they're working from home.
Right.
And so he happened to be there that day. I talked to him. I shared everything from A to Z. Mm-hmm. He's like, man, we've tried to work this file, and we can't make it work. I'm like, we can make it work. Yeah. But right there, I know the numbers can work. He's like, all right, let me talk to some people, get back to you. That same day, he calls me back and he's like, all right, I think we can make it work. Here's what I need you to get in. A, B, C.
Well, we restarted it completely. We did a whole
That's when he told me that the file started all the way from
and we'd have to do it from scratch. So now we're fighting back for our 3.99. We're fighting back for the rate. We're fighting back for the cost of the home that we locked in. We're fighting back for every single thing that we had that was added on our last contract. And also, prayerfully, there's no one else like right behind us that's like, I want that home, right? Because that would have been like, they're next in order. They're next in line, right? By the grace of God, everything was returned to us that was stolen by the enemy. Yeah. Everything was given back to us and restored. And 3.99 locked in, the rate, the price of the home still the same, which is crazy because a whole new year is now here. So I'm thinking like for sure it should go up, right? Yeah. No.
And it did. The value of our home is not
the value went up, but what we paid for it was the same as what we were planning to pay for it regardless. So that all was fixed. They were within babe, a week?
Yeah, within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks, max. We were in our home. We were approved. It literally felt unreal. It didn't feel. It's still some days is not real because of how displaced we were, of how hard it was to be displaced. Just the journey, the process, and just continuing to fight to have hope every single day. Yeah. It's still settling in, But I feel like that was just a story that, not even a story, but a testament that the Lord wanted us to, have to live out. Process of being in that hard journey of navigating not having a home. So one thing that I feel like I took out of that hard season of just like really feeling displaced, discouraged, and like knowing that there was something in me that the Lord wanted to refine, was that sometimes the Lord wants to take the Egypt out of you before he takes you to your Israel, before he takes you to your promised land. And I feel like it was like a heart posture. It was a mind. It was a no, like kind of like what my husband said, you know, I want this to be a reset, a refresh for you and your family. So the Lord had to refresh us in the process. And it took going through that to reset us and to realign us and to give us better vision and to give us better endurance, because only God knows what's ahead of us, but he's preparing us for whatever it is, right?
Because we had yes to all of that. And we had some really hard conversations during that time.
Oh my goodness.
We got taken to places again in our marriage to where the pressure was really on. Yeah. And like we really had to reassess what's important to us and what we're prioritizing and who are we as a unit, as a family. And like she said, without that pressure, without being in the fire, I mean, we came out of this different people.
100%.
And for the better.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree. Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
We came out of this process better people.
Yeah.
And prepare for this new home.
Right.
And, you know, we just can't wait to just see what God does here.
Yeah.
And our future babies. Can I say that?
I guess, child.
Our future babies.
I can already see them running around in the backyard and having a blast, and you know, Shy being this amazing older brother. So yes, like we're praying on that. We're praying for that and believing in faith that the Lord is going to do it.
And he will.
And he will. Yeah.
And so keep believing. Whatever you're going through right now, whatever that situation is, if he's giving you a promise, stand on it. Stand on business.
10 toes.
He will bring that thing to fruition.
Yeah.
But with the promise comes a process.
Yeah.
And don't skip that part.
Yeah.
That's my encouragement to whoever's listening.
Yeah.
Like,
that's good.
There's a promise, but there's also a process.
Yeah.
But the process is bringing you to the place where you need to be to steward that promise well. Yeah. And so
that's good.
It's true for us. It was true in our infertility journey. It's true in this process.
Yeah.
And, So
and delayed truly is not denial. Like just because it's delayed does not mean that you are denied or it is denial. So anyways, those are our little takeaways from this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry this video is so long, but I really do hope it was worthwhile. And I hope you learned something. And I hope overall you were, built up, encouraged. Did that hope was restored where you feel like it had been stolen. So anyways, go ahead and subscribe, like this video, comment, let us know. Can you relate? Was this helpful for you? All those different things. And make sure to just follow along on our journey because we have a lot going on this year. And if you are, just wanting to be in our corner for that, we would love to have you here in our corner, just to root for us, just to stay in the loop of everything that we have going on. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and we'll talk soon. Bye.